welcome to our third and final review of the evening, Degrees of Separation. And before you ask, no, that has nothing to do with Kevin Bacon. Like, um, more, moreover, I do not know how many degrees of separation we get from Kevin Bacon to this.
Yeah, I don't know about his connections to video gaming.
Yeah, I, I'm assuming there is at least six because that's how it works.
Mhm.
But getting to the actual game itself, no, degrees of separation is much more literal in this case, as it's a reference to the actual dilemma the characters in the game face, because you play as a fire girl and an ice boy named Ember and Rhyme.
hmm
Do
Very
you
clever.
get it? I was about to say, do you get it? You get it, friends?
Uh, and they wake up, they both awaken in a world that is emptied of life, and soon enough they meet each other. They fall for each other, but they're separate. Their worlds are literally separated by some magical force, and their job is to not only find out what the hell is going on, where did everybody go, but to see if they can unite as one, as it were. And let's see where to start. Well, I mean, this game is very what I'd call conventionally attractive. Like, it looks very pretty. Sure, if you can see from the gameplay. um, it's I guess the best way to put it is it looks like Braid or Gree or any number of high art indie platformers. Like, I'm not gonna lie, this kind of aesthetic is fairly common among indie games, especially puzzle platformers. I won't say it's the most played out motif I've seen. That's still 8-bit pixel art. But it's like, this is a very well-worn art style in the overall sense. That being said, it's very pretty to look at. And speaking of overdone motifs, you will notice that the whole fire and ice thing is done via the colors blue and orange. Like, you've probably seen this color contrast in a video game in the last, say, 10 years or so. Because, well, color wheel lesson. Blue and orange are natural opposites. And thus, on the color wheel, they complement each other.
Yeah, they contrast a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why they are so often paired up. It's aesthetically pleasing, while also being thematically appropriate in this case. It's just, nothing in this game is going to win any super originality design awards, but that's fine. The execution, once again, it's fine, but there are some issues. Chief among them, multiplayer. So this game is designed for two people. But the problem in the here and now is multiplayer options are limited. I mean, if you play it single player, you can get by. The AI is fairly competent, though not amazing. There were definitely times where the AI did not understand what I wanted it to do, and just kind of kept jumping in a loop. Well, instead of grabbing the vine. Anyway, but if you want to play this with a friend, or really the angle that they're going for, a loved one. In fact, like they made the announcement of the online co-op during Valentine's Day. Do you get it?
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
hmm
Yes. but as of the recording of this review, that is not available yet. You know, as far as how well online co-op would work, it should work well enough. This game is not an action platformer in really any sense of the word. It's fairly slow-paced, fairly relaxed in its designs. So any sort of ping or lag won't kill it. Unless you're dealing with an action puzzle set piece, I suppose, and that will come into play. Now, in terms of your puzzles, I suppose that depends on what you're going for here. Like, to actually get through the level, there isn't too much in the way of obstacles. Like, your main goal is to get the collectible. There are, throughout the 5 worlds and the hub world, which is the castle, there are magical scarves. They are the Mario stars of this game, or insert collectible here. You get the scarves, you open up further levels, and your super goal here is to get enough scarves to open the final door. Not sure if there's a bonus beyond getting an achievement if you 100% that. I managed to get enough scarves to finish the game. I did not 100% this, and there were reasons for that. Now the ways you get the scarves, the base puzzle is pretty typical, involving levers, pulleys, wooden blocks that go up and down, left and right, lanterns that react to heat and cold, and
bodies of water.
Bodies of water, because the Ember can go underwater, Rhyme can freeze water, and that plays into getting various puzzles. The level contrast is your main mode of puzzle solving, and further levels will compound that. That is to say, starting with World 2, there will be a stage gimmick. In that world, you'll be able to use the divide as a literal bridge, and you'll be trying to manipulate the angle in which to best get scarves. I thought that was the best of the added layers of complexity in terms of puzzle solving. World 3 was easily the worst, and no, I think that was World 3. You can access the worlds non-linearly, provided you have enough scarves. Just putting that on the table. But the mountains level, that's where you've got explosions. The problem is you will explode if you get too close to one another. So, just doing basic things took a lot longer and was more tedious because, if you just got close to one another, no matter what the situation, you'd blow and you go a significant distance away. And they did that because one of the factors in that puzzle solving is jumping off of your partner, and they needed to have that be automatic. That's well enough, but boy did the unwanted explosions get annoying fast. That's kind of what dissuaded me from 100%ing the game and just going to the end there when I had enough scarves. I hated it that much. Let's see. Fourth world was the coat. Or rather, your counterpart will be getting the ability to do the same weather effect as Rhyme can make things warm. Ember can make things cold. which is a natural progression of the puzzle landscape. It's like thought that went well enough. And finally for the fifth world, your aura, whatever they call the magical thing that surrounds you, is limited to a bubble, and your range of manipulation is much more limited. Once again, those worked fine. Those worked well enough. Didn't like them as much as the bridge, but none of them were the explosions in terms of annoyance and controller snapping frustration. Just that it was one of those small things that just kind of marred that portion of the game for me. Getting that across. As far as the final stage goes, they do change things up thematically. And I'll leave it at that. It's like, I'll leave the final world for you to discover. Just there, you're just getting through the stage. There are no more scarves to collect at that point. Like, let's see, the music, like the graphics, were very conventionally beautiful. I want to say this game is very Celtic in its influence. A lot of whistles and relaxing chants. I'm honestly surprised there's not a soundtrack option on Steam here. It's like the soundtrack is good enough to warrant owning, in my estimation. And I'm hoping it's available somewhere. Like Bandcamp, Spotify, what have you. Maybe this'll appear on Steam at some point. But yeah, no soundtrack. And for that matter, no special edition on Steam. No art book, and other such things that you would expect in a digital deluxe edition. It's just the base game. I'll not lie, I'm a bit stunned because I'm used to games of this caliber, having that. Mm-hmm. But as far as pricing goes, it's $20. I think that's a fair price for what you got here. It's just overall recommendation. I have to pause on that because the online multiplayer isn't here yet, and there's no indication of when it will drop, but it is a promised feature. And it's not necessary to enjoy, but I think maximum enjoyment would be predicated on that being there. Especially like the PC version. This game is also available on the PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch. I'm trying to think if it was on the Xbox One. Time for some real-time research here. Xbox One. Yes, Degrees of Separation is on the Xbox One. Let's see. As far as the story and the writing, this was actually heavily touted because Chris Avellone of many a CRPG fame had a hand in its creation. The story was all right. How do I put this? It was kind of marred by a lot of tell and not show. Because it makes heavy usage of a narrator, and the emotions conveyed are usually from the narrator's mouth instead of having the pair express the emotions. Yeah,
I don't think either character speaks actual words.
No, but it's like there's no there's too few actions to convey their affection for one another. I'm not going to say that the game is completely bereft of those actions. They do happen, but more often than not, when you like enter a new area or get the scarf, you have the narrator sounding off on the feelings of the couple, and I'm going to say it right now, that's just bad storytelling, because this is one of the cornerstones. Visual medium, show, don't tell. You told too much. It's not a deal breaker, but it's something I noticed, especially after a world or two. Like, anyway, Petty, you spent some time with this game, so what are your impressions?
Honestly, I do feel this would be a whole lot better with multiplayer, like online multiplayer, or even just if I had somebody local to play with. Because like the way you control the second player in single player is kind of clunky. So yeah, the option to just be point to the screen and be like, hey, hit that switch would be much better. And like
Right.
some of the character movements are kind of weird. Like I think part of it might be the art style, but like their like jumping animations look almost disjointed in my opinion.
Yeah, this game did look a bit stiff in terms of animations. No, it's just a big reason I think they went with the narrator is because on screen usually the camera is very zoomed out and your characters are really small, so you can see the whole feel of the puzzle. Which makes sense from the mechanics of the game, but in terms of conveyance of emotions, not so much.
And also, I don't think something we mentioned, I don't believe there's an actual failure state in this game.
No. There's no fail state. There's no enemies. Your only obstacles are getting the collectibles.
Does this be something to like play with like a younger sibling or something?
Well, yeah, it's completely family friendly.
Yeah.
It's like it's rated E for everyone, and there's no fantasy violence descriptors or anything. It's if you're looking for something non-violent, this is that. And also, it's not really dealing with any heavy themes, like say the recent game Gris was, where that was just an allegory for depression. A lot of these indie games are allegories for depression.
Who would have thought?
It's like this is trying to connect with a loved one.
Right.
It's not all that thematically deep, but it doesn't need to be. I'm like, it's like overall, I think this is a pretty solid game. Not amazing. And truth be told, I can definitely see. I haven't heard too much chatter about this game, and I'm not surprised. Like I said, everything here looks and plays fine, but that's kind of where it stops. Like, it's I keep using the term conventionally attractive, and it is that, but it is that to a fault. Like this game is kind of lost in the shuffle. As it does pain me a bit to say this, it is lacking in a bit of personality. It looks all nice, but I couldn't tell you a thing that really makes it stand out. Not even the whole fire and ice. Like the actual separated lovers thing is pretty unique in of itself, but artistically, you're going for like perhaps the most overused color scheme going right now. It's understandable why it works, but like everybody uses the orange blue dynamic. They've been doing that for decades. Like you can go back to the 8-bit era and see that contrast. And in modern age, with with like digital color correction. Like modern day movies love this shit. AAA games love this. Anyone else remember Fuse? Like that was Orange and Blue the game.
Orange
Like,
and Blue, the experience.
yes, and so is this. And once again, it's narratively justified. It's just, you know, it's an artistic cliche, and that's a bit of a shame. Like, as far as what specific platform to pick up for, I don't think there's going to be too much of a bearing.
I guess if once they get online multiplayer, it doesn't really matter. But if you really want to play with somebody right now, it'd be easier to get the console version.
Yeah, it's also getting this on the Nintendo Switch is going to be fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, whatever it's available for.
Yeah, more to the point, I'm saying it's like, this is an experience that I think would be better like on the go versus being at the computer or the console. Like it's pretty universal, and that works out for me. Right. Any other questions or comments on degrees of separation here?
I'm good.
I kind of wish I'd had the ability and gotten a code to play it, but.
Well, I mean, once again, you can purchase the game.
Yeah, maybe I might.
Oh, I don't think we went over price, did we?
Yes, we did. It's $20.
Okay.
Yeah, I said, that's a fine enough price, though. I'd say it'd be more justified with the online co-op there. Like, anyway, so solid recommend on degrees of separation here. One of the better games I've played this year. Granted, this year is young. We're just entering into March. And on that note, that'll about do it for the Fragments of Gone reviews. The week ahead, no Tuesday interview this week. And on Wednesday, March 6th, we'll be having Sean Han Tani. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's Chinese, Mandarin, of Analgesic Productions.
Analgesic, the thing that means painkiller or whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, if you don't know who he is one of the creators of the Zelda indie game Anodyne. Yeah, I'm like Nitro Rad just did a video of that, and it just got released on the Nintendo Switch. Ported by the Australian developer with 4 or 5 O's in it. Like, anyway, we're going to be talking about Anodyne 2, the upcoming sequel, which is being crafted in the mold of like PlayStation 1 era platforms. So it's something I'm looking forward to, because that's a play style we don't get nearly enough of these days for obvious reasons, and it also doesn't look like a PlayStation 1 game, thankfully. Jaggies as far as the eye can see and cut on. Anyway, and on Friday we will be having a multiplayer session on, you might remember this game, Iffy Institute. If we're doing that, that means this game has been released from the early access.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we all got a copy of this game back in the day. Like, when we do that impressions video about a half a year ago. Anyway, the point of the order is it's out of early access, so we can actually properly review it now. And yeah, until Wednesday, I shall wish you good gaming.